So I'm recording now. Welcome. It's January 9th, 2018. Welcome. This is Forrest. We're here with Eva and Jessica. What's up, you guys?
Hi, yay!
Great to have you. Great to have you. I'm going to share my screen. And so bear with me 1 second while I do that. All right. Just give me a thumbs up if you could see the screen. Awesome. Awesome. So LifeBinder Inner Tribe weekly epic meetup. Show me your daily rituals. I'll show you your life. I really think that when you're practicing daily rituals, you'll see it reflect in your life, in all the different realms of your life. Every single week, we do part 1 and part 2. Part 1 is a weekly training. We recharge our batteries. We have a discussion. It's usually a 10 to 15 minute deep dive into a training on mindset, daily rituals, how to succeed, that type of thing. And then part 2 is for the beta group, where we're discussing business development and how to incorporate the LifeBinder, create a business out of it, or incorporate it into your existing business. Today's epic training will be visualization to real world creation. Okay, taking a vision and really, like the picture shows, painting what it is in your life that you want. You're the artist of your life. You are. So to understand that and to have that power is an incredible thing. And so today, that perspective, right, is everything you see was first created in the mind, right? Everything you see, cities, buildings, computers, smartphones, cars, a Broadway play, a song, schools, brands, companies, nonprofits, houses, a movie, a music video, furniture, lights, bridges, airplanes. Everything you see started as a thought, started out in the mind. And so, you know, if you have that understanding that you can create just like everybody else before us has created, then you start to think in a bigger perspective, like, wow, what can I really create? What can I put into this world that is going to make a difference? Or what do I desire that I want to create for myself and my family or for my future? Steve Jobs said, life can be much broader once you discover one simple fact. Everything around you that you call life was made up by people that were no smarter than you. And you can change it. You can influence it. Once you learn that, you'll never be the same again. Right? So that's that power of that perspective shift. My quick story is a black belt, a business, and a book. Right? A lot of you guys know my background. If you didn't, when I was in high school, I got into some trouble with drugs, led me to depression, alcoholism, homelessness, and a feeling of isolation and despair in my life. And I was able to turn that around through a lot of help from different mentors, including my grandmother, including my martial arts mentor, including different friends and family. One of the first things I did was I created a vision in my mind. You see, school wasn't going too well for me at the time. I never graduated with a college degree. In fact, I was a 5-year, community college sophomore that never got a degree. But I had a vision in my mind. You know, as a young man at 20 years old, one of the things that everyone wants in their life is respect. Wouldn't you agree? Respect for yourself, respect from your peers, respect from your family members. You want people to see you and acknowledge you. You want to make a difference, right? And so I said, how can I do that? School's not going well. My life's not going well. I said, what can I do that I could just put like solid physical effort in maybe? And I always was intrigued by martial arts. And I said, I could be a black belt. I could do that. I could put in the work and just do classes and maintain a consistency. Because before that, I was never consistent with anything in my life. So who was I fooling, right? But I had a vision. And I could actually see myself with the black belt tied around my waist, bowing down to my students as an instructor and gaining the respect from my family and peers and feeling that. So what I did was I started a mental movie. That was the movie. I would see it come to life in my mind, sitting in my bed, in my room. I would play that vision and I would let myself feel good when I did it. I would bring up the feelings like it had already happened. So when I started to finally take the action and sign up for the classes and go through the grueling training day after day, I remember at one point when I was training for my black belt, I was training three times a day, 5 in the morning, then again at afternoon, and then again for 2 hours at night, and then another hour advanced class. So 3 times a day, like 5 or 6 hours a day, 6 to 7 days a week. So talk about having to put in the work, right? But in my mind, I had already seen the vision and it had already happened. So it was easy, right? And so I was able to create myself as a black belt. And then, like I said, no college degree, but I wanted to start helping other people with fitness, with health, with mindset. So I started a business. I didn't have any business background. I didn't have any business skills, but I had a vision. And I would play that mental movie over and over again in my mind. And then recently, after 12 years of thinking about it, I was able to write a book and put a book out, and it became an international bestseller on Amazon.com. Incredible, right? But it all started with a vision. So that's why I believe in the power of vision. And it takes not a long time. I'm talking about 5 to 10 minutes a day, right? 5 to 10 minutes a day. If you do that as part of the Life Binder ritual, you sit in your vision and you feel it. You feel the energy of it. You feel the good thoughts and the feelings, and you see it in your mind so clearly, right? That it's already happened. Then you start to take action, right? Because nothing happens without action, of course. But then you start to take action that's in line with your vision. But you have to have a clear vision. If you don't have a clear vision, and if you can't create that mental movie, it becomes very foggy, and it can easily be swayed by other people's vision, other people's agenda, what other people want for you, what other people think is best for you. So when you decide what's best for you, that's the power of having that strong vision. So what visualization is not, right? These are the things that visualization is not. It's not a gimmick. It's not hope or wishful thinking. It's not idle daydreaming. It's not something that only belongs to creative types. And it's definitely not a waste of time. Aristotle wrote over 2,000 years ago, first, have a definite, clear, practical ideal, a goal, an objective. Second, have the necessary means to achieve your ends, wisdom, money, materials, and methods. And then third, adjust all your means to that end. So that's how you take the vision and create with it, create something in the real world with it. I'm not one of those people that's like, crystal ball, wish for it and it'll happen. No, there's a science to this. And that's what this is. This is the science of visualization. So what is visualization really? How does it work? Visualization is the act of seeing in your mind the desired outcome for the purpose of creation. Maybe you want to run a marathon. Maybe you want to put out that book. Maybe you want to start that business. Maybe you want to pivot in your career. Maybe you want that ideal relationship with someone else or even yourself. Maybe you want to travel the world. That's what it starts with the vision of that. There was a study done where, and I read this a long time ago, so I didn't have time to really look it up again, but I just wanted to explain what it is there was 2 control groups. One control group was doing bicep curls with a fixed amount of weight. And every time they did a bicep curl, they went through the motion, the same reps every time, right? And the same rest periods. For 3 months, they did this, okay? Bicep curls. And while they were doing it, they were watching television, right? They were watching TV. So the other control group, they did the same exact weight, the same reps, the same rest periods. The only difference was instead of watching TV, they looked at their bicep and they squeezed mentally the muscle as they were going through the reps. The same tempo, the same everything, but they had a mental connection with what they were doing. After 3 months, the bicep group that was not watching TV, but the one that was focused mentally, had significantly larger biceps. They had more muscle growth, okay? So it shows that there's a body-mind connection happening. We're going to actually try it right now with you sitting right there. So go ahead, and what I want you to do is do this. You're going to just keep your hips where they're at, okay? And your feet where they're at. But you're going to turn as far as you can turn, and you're going to see how far can you go in your field of vision. Just turn and look behind you and take a note of what you see on the wall, or how far can you look behind you. Go ahead, Jessica. Turn your body, turn your head, turn your neck. How far can you see? Let your shoulders rotate. Let your whole body rotate. But how far can you actually go? All right? Now take a note of that and then come back to the center. Now I want you to go ahead and shut your eyes, and I want you to see your body more flexible. All right. I want you to see your head and neck turning further. I want you to see your shoulders being softened and being able to move. I want to see you to see and feel your back muscles like putty or like Play-Doh able to flow. I want you to see in your mind and feel in your mind that you can turn, way, way past where you were able to turn before. Okay. See it in your mind. Be there in your mind. Really go into yourself for a second. See that. Okay. And then I want you to try again. I want you to turn as far as you can and take a note of how far that you can turn. Go ahead and do that now. Turn, turn, turn as far as you can. Your whole body. You got to turn. Yep. All right. Okay. And then come back to the center. All right. So raise your hand. Were you able to go further the second time after the visualization? Right? And that's just one little self-experiment of how there's a body-mind connection in your vision and in creating a reality with that. There was also, there's been lots of studies with basketball players with visualization, and they've proven that you can get better at your free throw shots with just seeing yourself make the baskets in your mind over the actual physical practice, right? They both work hand in hand, but they did a control group study where the group that was seeing it in their mind significantly raised their free throw percentage. So that's pretty fascinating, your performance. So also, it's good to know to be careful. Your visualization has immense power in the real world. There was a true story. You could look it up later. A man finds himself, I should have got the guy's name. I can look it up, but I'll just read it. A man finds himself locked in a freezer, right? He's convinced he will die, and he begins writing letters. His letters ends with the final passage where he is saying he can't write anymore because his fingers are beginning to freeze. When they find him dead, not only do they find the letters, but they discover that the freezing temperature never dropped below 50 degrees. Thus, the man pretty much psyched himself to death. So here this guy was, it was actually a train boxcar, and he was there to fix the freezer or something like that, or to go in and do some type of maintenance work. And he was stuck in there, and he thought he was freezing to death. The thing never went below 50 degrees. A human being can't freeze at that. But because he thought so assuredly in his mind that he would freeze to death, that actually happened. And you could read it. It's actually an article in the Huffington Post. Perhaps nothing is more powerful in the world than the human mind. Your mind matters, and how you choose to think will have major influence about nearly everything that happens in your life. There's a Bible verse, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, man becomes what he thinks about all day long. So then, I don't know if you've heard of the Jim Carrey story. In 1997, he was brought on Oprah, and he shared how he used visualization. He basically would park on top of Mulholland Drive overlooking LA, and he would see himself as a successful comedian, successful actor, collecting big paychecks. And he actually wrote himself a check for, I think it was $10 million or something like that, and he put it in his wallet. And over the years, it got tattered and torn. But on the date that he wrote it, right before that happened, he received a check for a movie that he did called Dumb and Dumber, where he received the exact amount of $10 million. And he just would see in his vision over and over again, just sitting in his car, really feeling it come to life, feeling it as if it had already happened, as if it had already occurred. Michael Beckwith says, creation is always happening. Anytime an individual has a thought or a prolonged, chronic way of thinking, they are in creation, and something is going to manifest from those thoughts. Okay? Good or bad, something is going to manifest from those thoughts. So what you know is that any dream can be achieved. Once you know that, then the real question is, what do you want? Right? What do you want? And then why do you want it? Why do you really want it? Why do you want it? So, and now create your mental movie, right? So if you're going to practice that, and I encourage you to, maybe we won't go through the whole thing today, but write down, what does your mental movie look like? Write down, what are you wearing? Who are you with? What are your achievements? One of my things that I'm visualizing now is a trip to Italy. and I'm seeing my whole family coming with me. It'll be the first time I've ever been to Europe, and I want to do a prolonged trip, and I could see me and the kids biking through Lucca, and I could see us going to Florence, and I can see us, going to the houses on the cliffside at Cinque Terre, and I could see us going to the olive farm where we're going to stay, and I could hear my kids, how excited they are. I could see myself buying the plane ticket, all those things, right? Visualizing. And so that's what, I encourage you to remind yourself, is that you are a powerful creator, right? You are a powerful creator. What will you create? What will you create? So here's some simple visualization directions. Number 1, sit in visualization daily. Number 2, make it a time you enjoy. Feel good when you do it. And very importantly, feel and see your visualization as if it's already happened. So, one of my friends, he has a coaching practice. He just bought a Bentley, which is like this very, very expensive car. But he had visualized it, and he had gone to the car dealerships, and he had sat inside the cars holding the steering wheel and visualizing. This is when he was flat broke. He would do this and visualizing himself owning the car, right? And now he's been able to take all the actions leading up to the event. And really, once the event happens, then you realize it's not about achieving the thing. It's not about that. It's about who do you become as a person as you go about the process of achieving what you want in this life. So in the Life Binder, we introduced the 4 pillars: meditation, visualization, affirmation, and strategy of implementation. Visualization is the second pillar. Okay. In conclusion, remember this: visualize daily and start taking action toward the life of your dreams. So I want to thank you guys very much. Very grateful for you guys. I would like to open up the talk just before we get into the business part of today, is to hear about, what was your one takeaway, or how have you maybe used visualization in the past, or now that you have more information on it, how do you intend to use it in the future? So I'm going to go ahead and hit stop sharing on the screen. Hello. So what was your one takeaway, Eva, or what is something that, listening to this, how has it inspired you?
I'd like to say, Forrest, first, your presentation is excellent. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
I liked the slide about basically like what your daily routines is like, and what you're practicing is you basically. So if you're not visualizing and going towards that goal, like, it just makes me think about my entire last year of how much I was, I'm going to say, moping, and trying to answer the past confusions. And this is a good way to start off 2018 on just moving forward into visualizing what I want to do. And I'm still stuck on what is it I want to do and why, because my past has a lot of controlling features, from my parents to relationships. I haven't taken the time or given myself the time to really focus on that for my own career. I've been starting it here and there, but it's morphed into stuff. But I've been spending way too much time, energy, and money on confusions of the past. Mm-hmm. And so focusing on what I really want, and being imperfectly decisive, and being okay with failure, I think will help me gain understanding of myself and what I truly want to do. And then I can have a true visualization. Yeah. That it will include, like sounds of like congratulations for my mother. Yeah. Something specific. I can see the smile on my dad's face. Yeah. I will, feel more financial freedom than I do now. I will think about all the tasty food I can try because I can go to all the Michelin star restaurants.
I love that. Yeah.
Right? So I think that doing the visualization with the turning, it's like I actually I didn't even look to my left of what I would be seeing,
Yeah.
but I visualized what it could have been. I just saw like the extra set of curtains, and
Yeah.
I thought they were a lot closer than they were, but I actually turned farther and I actually saw the edge of it. And when I looked back around, I was like, oh, that's an extra 4 feet that I saw. So
Not cool.
that was pretty cool. I liked it.
Very awesome. Very awesome. Thank you so much, Eva. That was a great share. Thank you so much. Welcome, Katie and Martha, to the room. Welcome, Katie and Martha. Great to have you two.
Hi.
We're just finishing up the first section, and then we're going to get into the second section, the more business vision part for the beta group. So thank you so much for coming. Jessica, what was your takeaway from today's lesson on visualization?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So it's very simple visualization, but it's very powerful. So for example, me just doing this conference call, I visualized that I was going to do it, that I had an appointment at 6:30, and that's what I was thinking about. And I really like a quote where it says, man becomes what he thinks about all day long. So that's very true. And just even doing this, I actually went to 2 places before I came. I'm at a library because I wanted to have like a place to just kind of quiet down. And the first library I went, there was no rooms available. So I could have made a choice to just do something else, but I was like, okay, I'm going to find a coffee shop. So I went to a coffee shop and it was closed. So I was like, okay, well, I ended up finding another library. That's why I was a little bit late to the meeting. So just having, I guess, visualizing what you have, and I wrote it down on my calendar that at 6:30 I'm gonna do this meeting speak to the Zoom meeting. It's powerful because if you make that commitment with yourself and you visualize it, you're gonna implement it. So
yes.
Even just doing something as simple as this.
Yeah, and then one thing that I maybe forgot to touch on too, Jessica, but thank you so much, and that was so cool to hear about how you were relentless in the library, the coffee shop, finding a library. I love that.
Finally.
That's making it happen, right? And that's one thing is staying flexible, because sometimes we'll have a vision, but it doesn't turn out exactly maybe as our vision first showed, but it has the same type of energetic properties.
Exactly.
So, it's important to be aware that, to be flexible inside of the vision, because it'll grow and evolve as you do.
Yeah, because I could have just, after the second time, been like, oh, I'll just listen to the recording, or wait until the next week. But I was like, I made that commitment, and I already kind of visualized it, doing it since last week, that I wrote it down on my calendar. So I was like, I have to find a place, I have to make it happen. So
very cool. Awesome. So we're going to get into the second part 2 with the beta. Before we do, Eva chimed in early. We had some great little quick brainstorming session just today, and a couple of things that came up was an accountability buddy, somebody just to maybe throw a text to or whatever, saying, yeah, I did my daily rituals today, or I did my life binder today, or whatever. And I think just knowing somebody is there for you, right? And it could just be like a quick one simple text, yeah, I did it, or a virtual high five. And having somebody to shoot back and forth with, that could be a powerful thing. So we want to implement that very soon. And then Eva and I were talking about having, and we've mentioned this before, but having a person present a story on the topic, like a personal story, for like 5 minutes. So if the topic was visualization, for example, having Martha talk about how she used, visualization in her life with going to Japan or something like that. And how cool would that be, to have each person. So Eva suggested give people 2 weeks advance notice. That way they're on the calendar. They know when they're going to have their 5 minutes presentation, their personal story. And so what I'll do after this is I'll ask people to talk on whatever topics. And then that gives me a chance to get more organized in the upcoming weeks, so that you guys know 4 weeks in advance, like what's next week, what's the week after that, what's the week after that. So that's what we're going to be working on at this point. The last thing is I created a how-to with the Life Binder, how to print it out, how to what order to print it out, how many copies to print it out, and I'm going to put that file in the Facebook page as well. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay. So go ahead and let's see. I think I did the wrong one. Oh, okay, here we go. That's not it. Can you guys see my screen? Yeah? Okay, great, awesome.